So I just got back to Cape Town, my hometown. It's so nice to be home in my little cottage right here, and the next few months are going to be absolutely crazy. They're going to be some of the most exciting things that I have ever done. It's projects that I've kind of like dreamt of for a very long time, and it got me thinking that it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty grateful for what content creation has allowed me to do and how it's unlocked all of these different aspects in my life, like the things that I'm about to embark on. I thought maybe it'd be pretty cool just to share a little bit of my story and how I became a full-time content creator in a real and raw way, because it could be useful to some of you guys watching this video. Look at this chaos, which is my normally my filming space at my house. Got all these packages to open, which is pretty exciting. Also, don't pay attention to the dirt bike in my living space. A little better. I'm obviously going to figure out a bunch more stuff going on here, but for now I can catch up on a couple of things before we head out to go do some other fun, exciting things. So my initial kind of interest in filmmaking actually started with this, with skateboarding, and I kind of started making a bunch of skate videos of kind of doing like sponsor stuff and trying to be like a pro skater or whatever that is, but it quickly progressed into other things. I kind of quickly realized that I liked the whole filmmaking process kind of more than the skating thing, and I wanted to make a lot more like adventure-y style videos and stuff as well, not just skateboarding videos. The thing was, there wasn't really YouTube or anything at this time, or at least it wasn't a thing. So I kind of just made a bunch of things for fun. I'd post them on like Facebook, and then I started making all of these videos like purely just for fun. But as I kept going and making more of them, I started getting some like weird little opportunities to create videos for random things, like a whole mixed bag of different stuff, kind of like corporate things, maybe like a festival video. And then once I started doing more and more like party festival event style videos, that kind of like took off a little bit, to the point where I could make a little bit of money from content creation for the first time ever, which was amazing. But then I kind of had this flip of how I wanted to structure things differently and not just make like some random party videos or like after movie videos for festivals and stuff like that. So I kind of implemented a new strategy to try and do something that would be more along the lines of like a personal brand. I decided that I kind of wanted to make these cool like travel adventure videos, and at this point I was still like working boring stupid jobs in like bars and restaurants and stuff like that, and getting a little supplementary income from the festival videos or other weird corporate jobs that I would do, anything I could get kind of. But then I started to think about how I could create these like travel videos. YouTube was becoming a thing. And I would post a few random like little travel videos that, or not even like travel videos, but just like adventure travel style videos that were mostly filmed here in Cape Town because I didn't have money to travel anywhere. And they were pretty cool for back then. They're cheesy and pretty lame now, but for back then they were pretty cool. This is probably like 2014 or something, maybe even before. And then I would, my strategy that I kind of came up with to think about was, if I can create some content for brands that align with this like travel, adventure-y, lifestyle type of content, and I can get paid from them, but then use all of the money I get paid from them to create the content, but I could repurpose the content as my own and create like travel-y adventure style videos out of it. And that's exactly what I started to do, and to my biggest surprise, it actually kind of started to work. How you doing?
Good, thanks for you.
Good. Can I get just a black coffee, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't booked it, but I found like 3 good options. There's actually a shitload of them.
Balls are in, shirts are yellow.
Now, keep in mind, this is over a span of like years and years. It sounds very quickly when I explain it, but it was actually a lot longer than that. So I want to stress that, because otherwise people think things happen really quickly when in reality they don't. They just sound like it happened quite quickly. Figuring out what like adventure-y style brands would align with the type of content that I wanted to create. Some of my first ones were like a board short company. I had another one that was this like travel bracelet company. They're actually really cool. And then I also had a few like kind of random things that kind of worked but kind of didn't. I did some music video style content actually for like this like tropical house music, and then all my like cool travel-y cheesy running on the beach stuff kind of like fit really well. So I would start taking on anything I could like that just meant I could create content for the brand that they could use on their own websites or social media, because I didn't have any value in terms of reach or marketing. I didn't have any followers or subscribers or anything like that. So their value would be that I could create the content for them. But while I was creating that content, I could also repurpose the content to be used on my own platforms. So if I'm filming some like cool bracelet at a waterfall and showing this bracelet, all nice, cheesy, then I could also just create like these my own YouTube videos. And what my YouTube videos were then was just a straight up like cinematic video with like one track in the background, like a 3-minute cinematic video, no talking, no real like story or anything. But that's kind of what was going on YouTube in those days. And that actually kind of worked, and I started making quite a lot of them. Eventually I was making like kind of maybe one every second week or something of all these cool different adventures, and I would get as many of these brands while I was still doing like any other content creation work. I could do like corporate work, and I would still have to do some like odd jobs. Like I would film auditions for like the traditional film industry with like these directors and stuff, and then like I would be this dude on this camera filming these people doing their acting thing. It's pretty entertaining, but it was just any way that I could to get some extra money. And I kept doing that for a while, and I realized that the cinematic travel videos are really cool, but they're never gonna really expand into much more than that. And I think I had become so interested in the filmmaking aspect of all of this, and there was some other kind of creators coming up that were doing more like behind the scenes of how they create the videos rather than the videos themselves, because you can offer so much more value to build an audience. And that was like my kind of click moment, and I was like, I would so much rather teach people how to create awesome videos than just like create these like cheesy travel videos. They were super fun to make, and they were cool back in the day. But I had that moment, and I was like, okay, this is what I actually need to do. I need to shoot tutorials and teach people how to make these videos. So by this point, I kind of had enough money to survive. I wasn't making a lot of money by any means, but I could make the bare minimum so that I could double down on only creating content and not really spend or waste any of my time on anything else. And I would still take a lot of jobs that were like party videos, like after movie stuff, just to make a little bit extra money on the side so that I could kind of get a bit more money to actually start traveling. And by this point, I was making a fair amount, and I was kind of living in Bali for half the year. and then Cape Town the other half a year, Bali because it's awesome for filming videos and it's actually quite cheap. Well, it was back then. And then slowly but surely I built this all up, and my tutorials on YouTube started to take off. I probably started getting like I probably had like 15,000 subscribers or something by this point. And I was even starting to introduce some videos that were sponsored videos by camera companies like gimbals or lights or whatever. And I was even making some content like that. And I also upsold a lot of my brands like bracelets or board shorts or whatever, sunglasses. I'd upsold them to get them to be featured in my content as well, so that now I was creating the content for them that they can use, but I was also repurposing that content to use myself to grow my own platform, and I was getting them to pay to feature their products in my slowly growing platform. And I got a lot of those clients on retainer, so I had that monthly income to have a bit of security at least. Retainer is game changer. But then I remember this critical moment, this pivotal moment in my whole filmmaking career. Oh, that's hot. I landed this gig to go shoot videos in on a Greek island for this very cool like day club style thing. And I would create content for all these famous DJs, a bunch you've probably heard of. And it was super cool. It sounds more glamorous than it is. It was an incredible amount of work. But right at that same time, I was fighting to create my YouTube videos and keep them going, which was very difficult because it was just too much to juggle at the time. But I did create one video with a brand, with a gimbal company, a brand that I still work with to this day, that completely took off. And by now, I don't know, it's got well over 1 million views, but back then it initially just like grew very quickly as well. Way different from any of my other videos. If my other videos were getting like 1,000 something views, this one got 30,000 views. Like immediately. That one went viral, and then it kind of sparked this thing in me where I was just like, all of this other work, all this other bullshit that I'm trying to take on is distracting from what I could be doing with this. It grew my channel a lot, and I started getting a lot more outreach from other brands that wanted to feature on my channel and actually pay me money to do it instead of just like free product exchange. And when that happened, I flew directly from Greece to Bali with my friend Luca, who actually lives in Bali, and I'm still friends with him and create content with him these days, even like now. This was long ago. And I flew to Bali and I was like, I'm doubling down on this shit. I'm gonna just fully create tutorial videos, cool cinematic stuff, the content that I want to create that's valuable and teach people how to do kind of the same thing that I'm doing. And then that's kind of where it was my pivotal moment where I could go all in, and I had that huge luck element of that video performing well. But that video wasn't one of my first videos that I made and then just performed well. It was like my 100th and something video. And I think people probably don't even follow me from before then, my initial subscribers. So they would see that and go like, well, this kind of blew up and he just made this one video and it worked. And like, yes, that video did blow up and helped me a huge amount, but it was the 100 videos before that that got me to that point. And I couldn't have just made that video without making the other 100 videos. Whenever people are trying to do this thing for themselves and they are trying to make it, they feel like it should happen quickly. And I'm going to tell you a little story about that just now. But that was my pivotal moment and it was super cool. And I went all in on the content when I was back in Bali, and my channel slowly started growing and just getting more consistent. And eventually I grew it up, got whatever 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers, and then it was set. And I was all in. And ever since then, that's this channel, and I've just kept pushing. I've uploaded at least one video every single week for the last 6 or 7 years. Maybe I've missed like one, or I've missed a few weeks here and there, but for the most part every single week, and a lot more than that sometimes. And that brings me to where I am now, and I couldn't be more thankful and grateful. I kind of had this mentality of like, there's no plan B. I'm making this work. If it takes me 20 years or 1 year, I'm making this content creation thing work. And I do think that's a good approach. Can also be a bit dangerous, but that's just the way I am, I guess. But yeah, that's enough story time. One of the cool things, and why I figured this would be an interesting story, is because I'm having a bit of another pivotal moment right now. Not as drastic as like going all in and being a full-time YouTuber, but it is a very pivotal moment, and it's going to impact the way I create my main channel videos and these videos in a way that I've never had before. It's going to be something completely new to me, and an aspiration I've had for a very, very long time. And it's happening now. It's going to be all going down. That's why I've kind of come back to Cape Town. I've just decided, you know, I'm going to do this. So that's a really exciting time for me right now, and I'm going to bring you guys along for the whole journey and show you everything as it happens, get the inside scoop. So that's pretty exciting. I was writing a video for my main channel, and I was thinking about this concept of everyone's own journey feels really long, like way longer than what you feel like it should be taking. And I think it has something to do with everyone around you kind of seems like they're achieving things relatively quickly, or quicker than it seems that it's taking you. And it's largely because of you are only seeing the final 10% of people's journeys, you know, like the only reason you know about them is because they've like made it now or something. Otherwise you wouldn't have even know about these people that you feel like you're not competing with, or things aren't happening as quickly for you. But you don't see the 5 or 10 years or whatever that would have been happening before that for those people. And you wouldn't even see that part, because if you wouldn't see that part because you won't know who they are when they are going through that part. So you kind of have to realize that what you're exposed to and the kind of last few steps of people's journeys that you see so often are really not the whole picture. They kind of just the very end of it. There's so many people that are in the same phase as you right now, but you kind of just don't know about them, or you don't see them because they haven't made it yet. So there's no reason that you would kind of know or see them. And I think it's also cool to realize that things just take pretty long, like often way longer than you think they will take. And that's fine. That's totally fine, as long as you stick with it. If someone could guarantee your success, but not tell you how long the journey would be to get there, I bet you would have way more motivation to just keep pushing and do the thing, knowing that you have that guarantee that you're going to get to that finish line at some point. And I think if you stick at something long enough, there's a very small chance that you're not going to see some success with it. So just stick it out. That's what I would say. I feel like that's one of my biggest lessons. Also, it is so good to be back home in Cape Town. Look at this.
Without warning, I feel a sleepless storm. If I could, I would say the time.
So good to be home.
Your words keep me warm. early December.